Hey guys, my name's Shane. Welcome back to TPG. Today, I just want to have a little bit of a chat with everyone. We're not really going to be doing Photoshop stuff. We're not really going to be talking, plugins and things like this, or anything that you can do to enhance your photography or whatever. But today, I rather want to have a quick chat about what is it to be a photographer. What is it that you need to be a photographer? What makes a photographer? What makes proper imagery? What is it that people look at an image and go, wow, that's pretty cool. So today we're going to look at some of my own images, and we're going to have a look at, first of all, what I use to create them. And it's not really about the technical side, but it is also about the technical side. Does gear matter? That's the big question. And I'm going to say yes, it does, but not for the reasons you might think. So to give you a little bit of context with the images we're going to look at today, these images were shot at the Mighty Men conferences, and they are a Christian-based event where it is all outdoors, usually on a local farm area where there's no light. So in the evenings it's pitch black out there. There's no street light. There's no lighting, and the stages which are there have minimal lighting. Put it that way. So it is ultra challenging to shoot imagery there, where we have extreme backlight from the sound desk area, shooting a bit of spotlights, and then from the actual stage itself with some lighting coming on, but nothing actually lighting the crowd. Some random, like, large, what I would call LED panels, so you've got very difficult lighting, extremely challenging for them. And I can tell you now that even for the most expensive cameras, they're going to struggle. I've shot in good weather, I've shot in really misty weather, I've shot in torrential rain, and I just want you to keep in mind, as we're going to have a look at some of these images and we kind of talk about what photography is, and maybe how I can encourage you to sort of go, you know what, maybe gear doesn't matter, or maybe gear does matter. So these images were all shot with camera gear that is 15 or 10 years old. There is a reason why I use them. I don't shoot mirrorless, although I'm considering stepping forward into that market for certain reasons, but not for the quality of the imagery, by no means. So let's just have a bit of a chat, and we go have a look at some of these images, and we can kind of talk through some of them, and you can make up your own mind whether you think that this is important or not. So let's have a look over here. Right, so we're having a look at these images now, and I'm just going to scroll through. We're obviously in Adobe Bridge, and I'm just showing you a series of black and white imagery here. So let's just get in here, get this in full screen and have a look. Now, when I'm shooting this type of work, it is very emotive, it is very real, it is very raw. There is no hiding. The men come to these places to find Jesus, to be saved, to understand how to be better husbands and fathers, how to be better sons, and to take that back and learn from other men, and to walk with other men as they go forward in their everyday life when they leave this conference, which is, it's usually Friday to a Sunday. So if we look at this image now, this was shot with a 10-year-old Canon 750D, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with the quality. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the dynamic range. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the work. If I didn't tell you that it was shot with that specific camera, I think you would have gone, that could have been some mirrorless camera or a R5 or whatever it is. But what I'm saying is, more so, photography is not just about the gear you use. We're talking about what you show, how you show. Photography is, it's got to come from inside. Anybody can click a picture and be technical, make it correct technically, and it's all the aesthetics are right, the lighting is correct, or I used flash because it was a bit dark, or whatever it was. But an image doesn't need to be in focus to tell a story. It doesn't need to be perfectly exposed to tell a story, and we're going to see some of that in a minute. And what is this thing with everybody running away from noise? They like, oh, I don't want, everything's got to be perfectly blemish free and then no noise and plastic fantastic. You know, I think a lot of photographers are just going out there and using these tools just to actually mask their lack of skills, I think, to just put it bluntly. So let's have a look at another image now. Looking at this image, we just finish off here. You know, we're looking at what is it about, you know, telling a story. I mean, you don't need to see anything more. You can see what this is about. So we go to the next one, and obviously this is a similar story. And yes, obviously I'm showing you black and white images here. And these were shot in RAW and processed. But this just conveys a story. It's the depth of deep blacks and whites. We're looking at, there is noise in these images. It is not ultra clean. It is not perfectly tack sharp, but that's the point. I use these cameras because I like the way that they generate, how can I put it, inconsistent qualities. Sometimes there's artifacts, sometimes there is a softness, sometimes there is something about these older sensors that to me give me what I'm looking for. They give me this aesthetic, they give me this limit on dynamic range where I understand where the camera needs to work, and then it gets to that 100%, and I say, right, now we're going 120%, and I push it, and it goes way over. Of course, there are other things that I'm doing as well, but it's not in the raw processing, as you'll see in the next set of images, which are all JPEG files, eventually, and color as well. That predominantly nowadays I'm just shooting JPEG. I'm not even shooting RAW anymore, because like when I first learned on film, I understand that I've got this baked in color profile that the film that I was using at the time bakes in. It bakes in the grain, it bakes in the mistakes, and that makes photography for me. And that's part of what people see, and they go, how do you do that? Like this image on the screen here, I mean, I was literally 2 foot in front of these guys, and these are big men, you know, big farm men, big strong burly guys, you know, and to be able to capture these things is not just a technical thing. It's not just there is something in the connecting with somebody that gets you a photograph. And I'm not trying to be that person that says, oh, look at me, I'm this fantastic photographer, but I'm good. And I'll say it straight up, you know, you've got to have a certain arrogance about you to be able to get your photography. But it's not about being arrogant. It's not about being a know-all, you know-it-all. It's not about having all the technical gear and all the things. It's allowing, for me, it's about getting, without talking to anybody, within 2 seconds maybe, I look at the person and I'm feeling what they're feeling, and I'll step even that half a foot even closer. Even if I'm 2 foot already, I'll take that half a step even closer, because that is where you get personal with someone. It's in that 1.5 foot. It's that distance, that 2 foot gap. That is where photography is. That's where photography lays. That's where the realness, the rawness, the emotive passion all sits. That's where it's not with that 70 to 200 from across the crowd. That's not photography. That's not, you know. So this image now, which we're looking at, was shot with a 15-year-old Canon 550D. Now, I still use it because I love the camera. I love that it works flawlessly. It is battered and bashed. I'll show you. Look, I mean, we can have a look at it. There it is. If we can get that to focus on there. Yeah, somewhere there. Have a look at it. That thing is smashed, battered. The batteries are still flawless. 15 years old. It is bashed up. It doesn't work. Oh, sorry, it works perfectly, but that is it. There it is there, and this thing just works. It in torrential rain. It's not weather sealed. It's not even. Couldn't even want to wish it was weather sealed. 750D is the same, and these cameras perform flawlessly. So why does everybody think that you have to have the gear? You do not. Now I use it purely because we look at the screen now, because it gives me the aesthetic I'm looking for. It gives me the black and white. It gives me the shadows and the contrast that I'm looking for. The newer cameras don't do it. So what I'm saying is you have to have gear that works for you. You've got to have something that resonates with your vision and your look. So obviously lens wise as well, I'm not going out there using the latest and greatest everything, you know. This again is shot with a EFS 10 to 22 I think it is, and but it's the ability to connect with people when they know you are there with a camera, but yet they don't bother seeing you. They just go, he's feeling the same as me, he's seeing the same as me, we're in the same moment together. And that is when photography becomes real, and I believe that is what makes a photographer. Obviously when you are working with anything that's living, I mean landscapes, things, that's a different story, but you still need some emotive passion in you to be able to create a landscape, because people need to feel something from it, otherwise it's just a picture. You know, and not worrying about the big blacks and the whites and all these colors and, oh, it's not perfectly exposed or whatever. So with this example here, I want to show you, this was an event, another Mighty Men conference, but they had predicted torrential rain, a proper torrential rain, African style rain. When it rains here in Africa, it rains. It pours buckets. So and they predicted rain like this, and we'll have a look at some of the imagery here, and we can see, you know, that if you just work with your gear smart and you understand, and even the best cameras in the world will struggle to autofocus here. I don't care what camera you got, you can have the R5, R25, whatever newest thing is coming. When it struggles and you don't know what to do, you're not getting the shot. It's that simple, plain and simple. So having a look at the screen here, I just wanted to take this image just to show you the lighting. It is terrible. We've got two little floodlights, little spotlights over here, and two LED panels, which is next to nothing. And you know, how do you shoot in this way? How do you shoot in these conditions? And behind us, this little bit of highlight here on this guy's face is just coming from the sound desk, which is at the back, where they have another couple of spotlights, and that's it. But the image tells such a powerful story that, you know, having to look at your camera, you may need to focus manually. You need to pre-focus sometimes, take it out of autofocus and just stick it on manual, and know that you're 5 foot, and just go, well, that's round about there, and take the shot. You know, you can't always be relying on automatic and AI and all this nonsense. You know, you've got to be a photographer to tell stories. And so this is what I was doing here. I was looking for the highlights and then focusing on the highlight, knowing that is where the story is. So I just want to encourage you, don't rely on this and that and tech and new that and whatever. I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense, really. It helps, absolutely, but it's a bunch of nonsense, really. The same thing here. I mean, we're just telling you, I'm just trying to show you that, you know, I mean, yes, the focus is good, but look at all the noise, look at all of it. Look at the grain, look at it, it's gritty, it's grungy, it's blacks and it's darks, and it's, but that's the story. Not everybody will shoot in this way, absolutely, but for me, I enjoy the real film kind of look. I enjoy the grunginess, the vibiness. Sometimes I'm losing details in someone's face. I mean, you can't see all the details, but so what? So what? The image is more powerful than having to see every zit on his face and everything. You know, that's a bunch of nonsense. The emotive quality and power coming out of this is second to none, you know, and that's the difference. So there you go, showing you the two spotlights at the back. So when they backlit like this, it's even more difficult to focus. So, you know, and it was starting to drizzle a little bit. You can see all the halos coming through from the light. I mean, literally, it's smashing that sensor and it's going, bro, what are you up to? You just, you know, come on, you know, dial it back. Let's, you know, let's walk away from this. And I'm like, no way. This is the imagery. It cuts my editing time down by, oh, man, if I do a couple of clicks on something, that's it. So, I mean, look, I've got this style that I've created over many years. It's not something preset. It's not a, you know, saved action. That is not it. If you can't create it in camera, you're never going to edit it. Plain and simple. And so this is the rain we were talking about. It really started bucketing, absolute bucketing. So when you got rain like this and it's backlit and you've got this crappy light from the stage on this side, but I was looking at it and going, wow, look at the light. Look at the huge contrast, you know, look at the grunginess that I'm going to get, the real rawness out of this, you know what I mean? For me, this is one of the most powerful images of that weekend. There were many more, but I'm just showing you a selection of these, and how difficult conditions doesn't mean you stop shooting. You know, it doesn't mean that. These grounds were full of men. There was thousands of men there, and behind us at the back here, they have huge tents. There's one in the background there for men to go into because they knew there was so much rain coming, planned for the weekend. But look at the imagery. I mean, you know, if I didn't step out there and stand with these men, we'd never get these pictures. And they're beautiful. You know, again, I mean, look at it. I mean, the ground was so muddy and so difficult. I mean, look at it, noise. It's full of noise. I mean, this is probably shot at probably ISO 6400, somewhere around there on a 750D. Yeah, so I think it was on the 750. And everybody will tell you, oh, it's going to look rubbish. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It looks incredible. So, you know, if you like a film kind of look, why go buy a R5 Mark II to have perfectly clean images, and then you add noise and you do this and you do all that? Why do you want that? Why do you want it perfectly tack sharp? Because most film wasn't ever like that. So, you know what I mean? I don't understand. Yes, does it make it more difficult to work like that? 100%. But it gives me, for me, it gives me an edge. I mean, I don't really care what camera I'm using. Like I said in the beginning, I'm looking forward to going to get the newer cameras. But hey, we'll see. So let's just flick through these images before this video takes like 3 hours. You know, again, just look at the light. Is it perfectly sharp? No. Is it incredible? Absolutely. Is it emotive, full of power and passion? Absolutely. Does it tell a story? 100%. You know, there just to show you what it looked like. I mean, that's it. I mean, there was so much rain, you know, yeah. So we'll just go out now. Now we're going to have a look at these images here. Color images. Now these are JPEG files, straight out of camera. All these images have had zero editing done to them. 100%. That as it is comes out of camera, that's how it is. Didn't shoot RAW and JPEG, just plain JPEG, because I've got to a point where I understand the colors, I understand what I'm looking for, and I understand what I like. You know, you might not like this, absolutely. For me, I like it. It reminds me of like a sort of Fuji sort of 400 type film. Gives you those little bit muted colors, but saturated still with deep sort of contrast, you know, and I like that. So just to show you that JPEG files are just as incredible. And I mean, look at how rich it is. Look at the, you know, it's incredible. So the reason why I'm showing you these is because, you know, when you shoot imagery, it's about the person, it's about working with the people. So like I said before, you can take landscapes and things like this, but now here I'm showing you an example with a horse. There were two horses on this set of images, and neither of them knew me at all. So walking up, I'm a stranger. And so how do you get really, really interesting pictures with an animal that big and that powerful? Yeah, so literally I was having the rider come past me with the horse, and getting increasing closer and closer and closer, to a point where the horse was coming within, like really coming at pace, coming past me at maybe 5 foot. But the horse being so comfortable, eventually understanding. But that's just what I'm saying. Having to engage with a person or an animal is the same thing, because that allows you to get the pictures. So if you can do that, it's a skill you've got to try and learn. But it's something, I think, because photography is so widely accessible nowadays, not everybody, I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own backside here, but I'm saying, but there is something that sets some photographers apart. And that comes in that realness moments when you're working with, for argument's sake, horses or people or something, where you can really get something out of them that others seem to struggle to do. So, like that is a JPEG file straight out of camera. I mean, you couldn't want it more backlit than that. And yet, look at the dynamic range for a 750D. Come on. If you had seen that, somebody could have said to you, oh, that's a R3 or a whatever you want to call it. But it's an entry-level DSLR made 10 years ago. and there you go. Yeah, fantastic. Do you need to see every detail of everything? No, it's a horse. You can see it's a horse and rider. What more do you need? You know what I mean? So, but anyway, everyone's got to tell their own story, their own way. And yeah, it's just good. Getting really close, getting really vibey imagery. I mean, look at the beautiful colors straight out of camera, JPEG, and they have a nice feel to them. There's a nice color, there's a nice grain structure. It's very fine. And obviously as you crank the ISO, then yeah, it comes in. But, having these images is just incredible. If you look at them, they just have a good aesthetic to them. They have a nice feel, a realness. So and that's what I think people need to get more in their photography. It's not about the latest and greatest, and does it help? Absolutely. But the motive, people got to put their hearts into photography again, to really be photographers. I think people have lost that. I think people don't want to do the hard yards, I think. And that's pretty hard to say, but I think a lot of people just want the quick and easy. Give me a preset, give me the action, give me this, give me that. Give me the latest and greatest with, 17, 18K videos and what? You're thinking on YouTube. What does it help you? Yeah, so, like this image here in the horse box. I mean, literally I had to get into the horse box to get this picture. So, placing yourself, getting yourself, not worrying so much about the equipment, not worrying if it's out of focus so much, if it's pin sharp or tack sharp, or it's too black or too white, or if it's whatever it is. I mean, come on. I just wish people would get back to photography, and see some things. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the photography that I do. The next video, I'm going to talk about high ISO editing and how you can really take your work to the next level if shooting raw. How to clean it properly, but how to still keeping it real, and things like that. So I hope this little bit of a chat is it's not scripted at all. I'm just talking to you as if we're sitting having a beer, whatever it is, just having a chat, because that's where the real conversations come. And I'd like to know what you guys know about things, or what you think. You've seen some of my work there. I'm going to be showing a bunch more. I do shoot some landscapes and things, and arty street work and stuff like that. But it's and a bunch of other things, of course. But let me know what you guys want to learn. I mean, what is it that you struggle with? What is it that you want to find out about photography? Because for me, photography is about that connection. It sounds cliche, but People say that, but most people can't do it. And it's not about making the person comfortable in the first 2-3 minutes, and that's a bunch of crap. No, that's a bunch of nonsense. You read that in a book somewhere, or there's a million YouTube channels. I mean, what do they know? They don't even have a commercial job ever. They've never, being real is the key to most things. You've got to be real with the person in front of your camera. If you're not real, they're not going to show you who they are. It's plain and simple. So whether that's an animal, whether that's a person, I think it's all one and the same thing, really, to be honest. So let me know what you guys like, what you think. Give me a shout, some of the images, what you think of them. And drop me a comment if you've got a website out there or whatever it is, so I can have a look at some of your work. I'd like to have a look at it and we can chat about it. But definitely the next video coming is going to be very cool about high ISO editing, how to do it properly. Photoshop has made some changes finally, which can make it really easy for you to do it. And of course, if you're photographing people and you want to do editing for skin retouching and blemishes, Rebloom AI is fantastic. I have an affiliate link with them. The link will be down below, and I'll drop it in here as well somewhere. And at obviously the end of this video, you'll see some of these cards come up, and you can then go and have a watch some of those videos. You can get like 20% off. Yeah, definitely, it's solid. Best editing software for skin, fast. Oh man, it's incredible. I'm going to make another video later this week about that. That's going to show more in depth about how you can work with it with your imagery. The best thing is it's good, it's cheap, there's no subscription if you don't want to have that. It has really incredible AI algorithms running in the background to really make your images look real still and not plastic fantastic. And the best thing is based locally on your computer, doesn't have to be uploaded to the cloud, and it's private. So if you're shooting things like boudoir or even weddings, things like the people that don't want their work uploaded online, people paying you for your work, you've got to be sure in your contract when you say to them, hey, I control your content, I control this, you can't be handing it off to somebody else in a third-party cloud or something to edit your pictures. So something to think about. So yeah, get that link, it's all good for you. And obviously, if you enjoyed the video, give us a shout out down below. Like, subscribe, all those things, you know what to do. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.